Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm showing you how to make this feather corset, and if you would like the pattern, I will leave a link in the description box. So before we start with the tutorial, I will show you some of the materials I will use in this video. So here we have the ostrich feathers. I will leave the link to where I bought mine. Then we have the bias tape, and we will need two different bias tapes. One is 9mm and the other one is 18. And here I have the cord for the lace up. Then you'll see the boning that I use. If you want to use the same straight boning, I will also leave a link in the description. And here is the corset fabric. You will also find the link in the description for it. So there are different ways to how to cut out the pattern. For this project, I place the pattern and then pin it on. After the pattern is pinned to the fabric, I just cut it out. And this is how it looks when it cut out. So in total you should have 10 different pieces. And now I'm pinning together the pieces. And please keep in mind, if you're not using the fabric that I used, you should do this. You should put the seam allowance on the right side of the garment. So this is how it looks. Then I'm sewing together the parts, and please keep in mind that the seam allowance is on the right side of the garment. So after I've sewn together the pieces, I'm placing the seam allowance to one side, both of the seam allowances to one side, and then top stitch it. I'm making my stitch around 2-3 millimeters from the seam. And before top stitching the curvy parts of the corset, I'm making small cuts on the seam allowance. It will make it easier to top stitch. And now it's time to cut away the seam allowance. So cut as close as possible to the stitch. And here I'm taking the 9mm bias tape, place it over the stitch that we did, and then I'm making a stitch around 1mm from the bias edge. And now I'm making a stitch on the other side of the bias tape. Now it's time to add the eyelet panel, and I'm basically repeating the same step that we did for the other parts. So pin them together, sew them together, make a top stitch, and please put the seam allowance also on the right side of the garment, and then put a bias tape over it and stitch the bias tape. And here I took the 18 millimeters bias tape, so I will fold it in the middle, and now I will sew it on the eyelet panel. So put that eyelet panel inside the bias tape and make a stitch around 1 millimeter from the edge of the bias tape. And this is what it looks like when it's done. So here I also take the 18 millimeters wide bias tape, and I cut it, as you see, in a triangle way. And here I'm folding those edges in and then fold it in the middle. So here you can see that I put the corset in the bias tape, and here I'm doing it for the top of the corset. So just make a straight stitch all the way around, and when you come to the end you will repeat the same step. For me it's easier to hand stitch that edge first, but you can also skip this part. So before going to sew it together at the end, I'm hand stitching the end, and now I can finish that stitch. So this is how it should look like. So here I have tried the top, and I've seen how far down I will go with the feathers. Now it's time to place the feathers to the corset. The starting point is between detail 3 and detail 4 on this side of the corset. So I'm folding the start of the feather trim in and then place it on the corset, as you can see, as near as possible to the top. Now I'm sewing on 2 rows of the feather trim, and I'm using a straight stitch. Now I'm adding 2 rows of the satin band. And this is how it should look like after placing 2 rows of the feathers and 2 rows of the satin band. Now it's time for 2 more rows of the feathers. And since we are curvy at the front, I'm placing satin band shorter on the front. So the starting point is between detail 3 and detail 2. And then I place 2 more rows of the feathers, and then satin band again, and then the end rows are feathers. After I've placed the feathers, I'm putting in the boning channels, and I would recommend you to cut the boning at least 1 centimeter shorter than the boning channel is. And here you can see that I put the bias tape at the bottom of the corset, the same way as we did for the top. So now it's time to install the eyelets on the eyelet panel. I put in 4 eyelets, but you can put in as many as you want. And you should follow the instructions for your choice of eyelets. Here you can see that I'm making the holes for the eyelets. Then I will put the eyelets in and then press. But it might be different instructions specifically for your eyelets. And now I'm done with the top. As you can see, it looks kind of funny when it's lying down, but it looks great when it's on the body. So thank you guys for watching this video. If you like it, please subscribe, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.